Okay. It looks like we are live. Yep, we are live. Today we have a great episode of the T Podcast. We're with Preslie and Raeleigh, right? Okay, cool. I said it right. And they are with Scrappie Studio. They are the owners of Scrappie Studio here in Lafayette, a new studio that kind of creates a third space for artists and also kind of fills the gap for people that don't want to go to Hobby Lobby but still want to go to an artist store to get supplies and good stuff. So we're going to be talking with them about their business and kind of diving into that. Real quick, our studio sponsor is Optimize GP. They are Acadiana's best bet to keep your electricity running whenever the power goes out during a storm or our janky electrical system here, especially when Meta decides to complete their big billion-dollar AI factory or whatever that is in North Louisiana and decides to take all the electricity away from us, and we're going to pay for it, and we're just not going to have electricity. A whole home generator can actually help you with that. OptimizeGP.com. They specialize in whole home standby Generac generator solutions. So check them out. They can power your home with confidence during any outage, like I said. And you can get started for pretty cheap, like $600 to get started. And then you have like monthly payments for however long you decide to finance it for. So check them out, OptimizeGP.com. And I hope you enjoy the episode. All right. And then our next sponsor, this is the presenting sponsor, Chase Group Construction. They take the lead and become your one point of contact for the entire design build process. So if you're looking to build a new business from the ground up or to renovate a space, you can check them out. It is chasegroupconstruction.com. They build a bunch of cool stuff in Lafayette. They've built a bunch of cool stuff around Acadiana. Building a bunch of stuff right now. Some of the stuff I can't mention because they're trying to keep it quiet for whatever reason. But you know me, if they tell me I really want to say it and they're trusting me to not say it because, well, I mean, they are a sponsor, so got to keep that in check. Anyway, check them out, chasegroupconstruction.com. Great local people, and we really appreciate their support. All right, so on with the episode. Raeleigh, Preslie, welcome to the T Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
All right. So while we were getting ready to go live, you guys were hitting the gritty and talking about all kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Tell us a little bit about you guys. Whoever wants to go first, just tell me a little bit about you, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Okay, I'll go first. I am from Opelousas, Karen Crow, Lafayette, whatever, I claim it all. I grew up, I went to all-girls school. I went to Sacred Heart in Grand Coteau. And, yeah, I like doing art. That school helped me a lot to do art. I have a lot of fun. I'm a graphic designer by trade. That's, like, what I'm trained in. But I can do all art. I love all art. Everything's art to me. Cooking, cleaning. Cleaning can be art. But, yeah, I love my family.
Yeah, hey, that's good.
Family.
So Grand Coteau, right?
Yeah, Sacred Heart is in Grand Coteau. But, like, my whole family was, like, from Opelousas. And I went to school there before. And
Opelousas.
The slop.
Yeah, Slopolisas out here.
The downtown of Opelousas is really, actually very pretty. Like, it's got, like, the old department store buildings. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, vintage. But it's just old buildings, old architecture. And the library is seriously the coolest library I've ever seen. Highly recommend Opelousas Library.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Preslie, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm actually not even originally from Lafayette. I'm originally from like the Dallas, Texas area, and I moved to Lafayette in like middle school. Like 8th grade was my first year here, and then went to Lafayette High and then LSU, and then I moved back temporarily thinking that I was gonna move to Colorado and go to grad school, and then me and Raeleigh's visions lined up, and I ended up not going, and we stayed in Open Scrappie. So it's like it's very, like, whenever you say you're from Opelousas, no idea where that is. I know Lafayette. Well, I know, like, Lafayette proper. I know where Baton Rouge is in New Orleans, but, like, anything else, I don't know if Youngsville is, like, north, west. Like, I don't know any of that. I've never acclimated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't know where Opelousas technically is.
Like, not on the map. Like, I know that it's around here, probably like, what, 30 minutes drive? Yeah.
Give or take.
Like, I know about the distance of things time-wise, but I don't know, like, what's above, below.
Opelousas is north. It used to be the capital.
That's what I thought. Wait.
It was the capital of Louisiana.
Of Louisiana?
Yep.
That's what I've heard too.
It was historically it was the capital. Historically, it was the capital, and it moved to Baton Rouge. I don't know why it was the capital.
I've heard. I thought New Orleans was the capital at one point too.
That makes
Why
sense.
are we
It's
changing
a port.
capitals so much over here? I don't know.
Baton Rouge, just Baton Rouge.
I don't know.
Port? I mean, they have the bridge that goes over a
Port-
body of
Port
water.
of Baton Rouge.
I don't know what the bottom. I don't know what that body of water is. I know I'm afraid of it.
The river?
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, the Mississippi.
That's the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention because I'm really afraid of bridges. So like, I go over it and I'm like concentrating so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Or
Mississippi.
rolling down all my windows because that's what you do. If the car falls off the bridge, you roll down your windows.
Yeah, so you can get out.
Yes, so there's not
Hey,
pressure.
pull your mic up a little bit. Yeah, like pull it up to you.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, you good, you good. Okay, so we've got an Opelousas native. We got somebody who's from Dallas, Texas. Why? So what got you from Dallas to here?
Well, my parents got divorced, and my mom was from here originally. She's from Franklin, Louisiana.
Okay.
And so whenever they separated, she was like, I just want to be with my family. Like, I want my kids to grow up around their grandparents and their cousins.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so, but I grew up, like, whenever, like, you know, you have your mom and your dad's side of the family. My mom's side was always the favorite, and we would always come here and visit during the summers. Like, I would come and stay for the summers or for Christmas or for Thanksgiving. I never liked, my mom's side was always the favorite. So whenever we were moving down here, I was really excited to be next to family. So like, whenever I would come visit as a kid, I remember getting BJ's pizza and meshes and eating rice and gravy and being like, this is the best thing in the entire world. Why are we not doing this? But then I also have great memories of living in Texas and my mom like cooking a gumbo for the 4 days that it gets cold over there.
Right.
So it's like, I've always been like Louisiana by heart. Like even whenever I lived in Texas in middle school, my Instagram name was Little Cajun Girl. And so like, and I didn't even live here. I just really embraced it.
Yeah.
And so whenever I moved here, it felt almost like it was a tough transition just being like 14 and having to uproot your life. But like culturally, it was a really interesting transition. And I've always held that like really close to my heart because I think it's one of those things where whenever you visit other places and then you come back, you're like, there's no place like home. And so it's always really felt like home for me, for sure.
So but you grew up in Dallas area.
Yeah, so I grew up in like the Fort Worth area, and I lived in a town called Frisco, which at one point was like the fastest developing city in the nation. And it was really interesting because whenever I lived there, it was obviously like still getting built, like it was still expanding. And the school that I went to was a brand new school. We were like the first group to go in there. They had a computer lab. They had all these resources. You know, Texas pays property taxes, higher property taxes. And so all that money goes back into the schools. And so moving here, seeing the disparity gap of like going to LJ Alamo and being in a portable building and like having to pay class fees was very strange to me. And that always really intrigued my interest. Like in college, I was in education for a really long time because I really thought I wanted to like bridge the gap in that way. But then I had realized that I really didn't want to be like in the classroom full time. I really wanted to be like just in a community setting working with people. And so like being with Scrappie is like the perfect accumulation of all that. But yeah, not even originally from here.
No, but that, I mean, to have embraced it even by your username is interesting. Raeleigh, so being from Opelousas, obviously you're still here, but have you, like, whenever you were living in Opelousas, like, you had to have had thoughts of, like, moving out, like, getting out of this podunk town?
I've never wanted to stay here. Like, growing up, I was going to go to live in Colorado. Like, I applied to college in Colorado, and I just didn't really, my family's not very Southern or Cajun. Like, everyone's from here. My mom's from Texas, but, like, my family is very, like, they're from Louisiana, but no one's very Cajun. We're not very country. Like, my uncle randomly hunts and fishes, and they're like, we don't know where he got that from. And, like, my family's, like, city people almost. I don't know. And we're not fancy either. But I always envisioned myself going somewhere else. And then I graduated during COVID. Like, that was my senior year of high school. And I went to UL because that was the option. And I was like, oh my gosh, actually, Louisiana is so much bigger, or like Lafayette's so much bigger than just what I thought it was. I thought it was like the same 30 people I went to high school with, which it's just not. There's tons of people here. There's people that aren't even from here that come and are super cool. So I love Louisiana now. I'm still not very Cajun. Like, I really don't like red beans and rice.
Okay, look, I don't like red beans and rice either. Like, I'm good with it.
I don't like jambalaya. Like, I don't like Southern food. I like crawfish and gumbo, but I don't know. I'm not very Cajun or Southern. Or
Yeah.
We were talking about that the other day too, of just like, there's just, I think people think of the South and they think like all these weird stereotypes of like, oh, y'all are racist and homophobic. And like the reality is that, especially as like younger people, there's such a large community of people who are artsy and creative and like want to make a difference and are very passionate. And it's like a very weird anomaly of like people don't want to visit the South, but like culturally we're some of the most diverse groups of people ever.
Yes.
And especially like being in college at LSU made me realize that too, of just like, oh, there are people here who like dress alternatively. Like you don't have to wear, whatever, but like it's yeah, like you think you want to move to these big cities. Like I was the same way. We both applied to the same school for undergrad, which is really funny, in Colorado. But like I always thought I was gonna graduate from LSU and move to New York and have like my artist fantasy out there. But then you realize you can do the same thing with even more impact, like in your hometown around people you love and support you. Like it doesn't have to be a struggle. You don't have to like go live in a box for $3,000 a month.
Oh, God.
And it's like a huge impact here comparatively to New York. There's probably 15 Scrappies in the city, New York City itself.
In Bushwick.
Yeah, like one like block.
Yeah, but we actually, there's like we can eventually make an actual impact on the artist community. Like everyone be friends with us. Let's have fun.
So Preslie, you said something that I agree with, and I want to expand on a little bit, because I think you're right. I think people have this perception that we are the racist South. Are there racists here? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there racists in Oregon? Yes. There's racist people everywhere, but at different varying degrees, and some of them sound a little bit more hick than others. But I think everybody judges skin color to some degree in every different part of the region. Not to say everybody in that region, but like different regions. But here, like you said, it feels like we're one of the more diverse areas of the country, because let's just face it, this area of the country has the highest percentage of Black people that live
That's
here.
literally what we were like, why we brought that up. We don't know the facts, but why we brought that up. Yeah.
I mean, you still have issues. Like something that I had wrote about in college one time was like being from Lafayette, just the disparity gap between like the north side and the south side. Like stuff like that does exist. Like it is real down here. This is like real issues. But I also think, like I was telling Raeleigh about this TikTok video. This guy interviews people on the subway and like asks them for their hot takes. And this one guy that he was interviewing had said everybody should have to go live in the South for 6 months out the year just to experience it. And the guy that was interviewing him was like, I'm not going to the South. I would never live down there, blah, blah, blah. And the guy being interviewed said, you're the problem. Like, you think that you're better than everybody because you don't live in the South, and you don't want to, like, you want to assume all these things about living in the South. But, like, the reality is that the South can be a very beautiful place. And I think, like, being artists from the South, people just assume that, like, you don't have a voice or you don't have anything to say, or that it's not as important because you're not in Los Angeles or New York or Chicago. But, like, the reality is that the work is still being done and the work is still good regardless of where you live. And it's just really like, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of dissertations on like the gentrification of art in New York and these big cities, and it's just nice to live somewhere where your work will be valued whether you live in like a high rise or you live in a townhome, or it's very like weird anomaly in the art world to me, and just like in general the stereotypes of living in the South.
Like also there, there's some people who are like, why are you getting an art degree like in the South? Of course there's people everywhere that say that, but people really value it down here. People really value it. Like there's grandparents who are praising us for doing this. There's younger people like art is really important, and we miss out on it a lot in like public schools and other private school settings. They're taking away art programs, and it is so important for children to have this skill and just that dedicated time weekly to make art. But people value it. Parents just, they might think their kid will do better in football. Maybe your son wants to paint.
Hey.
Right.
He can paint and play football.
Yeah. I was talking to, we have kids classes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I was talking to a little girl in the Wednesday class, and she was like, yeah, I go to art once a week at school. And I was like, once a week? You're literally 7 years old. Like, I remember going like 3 or 4 times a week whenever I lived in Texas, and it's so funny. Like, this is just like in the world of arts in general, but like people value the art so much. Like, you go to the zoo and the sign where it says like Acadiana Zoo, like that's art, that's sculpture. Like there's so much value of art in the world, but people don't recognize it. And so it's really funny, like living in a region where arts education just isn't as valued. Like, I grew up in band, playing the trumpet, being in performing arts pretty much my whole life. And so it's really weird to see, budget cuts happen. And that's part of the reason that we want Scrappie to also be successful, is to like foster that, not only for adults who've like, graduated or maybe they never got into it as a kid, but like also for students who just don't get that in their education, because it's so important.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have art class. I had art class once a year until the 6th grade.
Once a year?
Yeah, I went to Opelousas Catholic in Opelousas, and we literally did not have art class. We had music. Like, I can't sing for shit. So, like, why am I singing? And I sure as shit sang every single week when she came. You would print out a piece of paper and you'd sing your song for a piece of candy. Every single week I did it. God awful.
Okay.
But at Sacred Heart, the art program was really nice. But I'm like, I don't think my parents should have to, like, sacrifice this huge amount of money to send me to school here just so I could get art class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why doesn't everyone have art class? And they were phenomenal classes, but...
Yeah. I also think there's a lot of emphasis on, like, it's up to the teachers and, like, the staff, and, like, this isn't a dig at, like, school administration. It's more so a dig at just, like, school board. It's, like, why are we putting that on the teachers on top of, like, their lesson planning and classroom management and all these other things? Like, a lot of the classroom is left up to the teacher, which is cool, but also, like, let's just give people what they need. Let's just give kids what they need. But then it's the same thing with adults of, like, everybody should be able to have a creative outlet in some capacity. And whenever I say arts, I'm thinking more than just, like, visual arts. It's, like, music, performing arts, like, theater, like, in any sort of art, everyone should have access to an outlet.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, look, I want to find a stopping point. I got my last sponsor. Also, we just got a comment from Full Moon Market, Louisiana. They said, hashtag support the arts. We love this. All right. So thank you for that. All right. So let's get this next sponsor mentioned. And what's really cool is I'm going to let Preslie.
We can do it together. Me and Raeleigh can do it together.
Y'all want to do it together?
We're going to do it together.
Okay.
I'm going to force you to say something.
Here we go. Look, here's my phone.
Okay.
There you go. And if you know anything about Music Academy, you definitely expand on any of your experiences.
Okay. This is my first ad read. I'm nervous. Okay. Music Academy of Acadiana is Acadiana's top music school. As somebody who grew up playing trumpet and was in performing arts my whole life, being able to play an instrument is actually one of the best things that ever happened to me. Being able to connect with others in a language that's not verbal is very special. And so if you have a child or if you want to learn an instrument, please go take lessons in piano, guitar, voice, drums, violin, saxophone, flute, and audio production. That's really cool. I'm about to go take a lesson, and I'm going to put a song on Spotify. They have award-winning instructors. The students have excelled in competitions and even appeared in American Idol and The Voice. That's pretty crazy. Their website is musicacademyacadiana.com. Check them out and foster your love for music today.
That is so good. You do it way better than I do.
Oh no, I think you got a lot of charisma with yours.
You did.
I wanted to mention that too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's like that was fun. If anybody would like to sponsor us too, you can.
Yeah. So
we would love to do more ad reads.
We would like to do kids classes.
This was great. I love that.
Children.
I think Tim Benson, who is the music school, the Music Academy of Acadiana's owner, and also a UL Lafayette Music School graduate, would appreciate that. He watches a lot of our episodes. I don't know if he watches every single one, but he knows whenever I mention his name, and he always gets a little blushed because he said, "You don't have to mention my name." I'm like, "It's all right, dude. I
Make him
appreciate
blush
you."
a little bit.
Shout out.
But Tim, he's also. Have you ever heard of the cover band The Criers?
Yes.
I actually have had them on. They gave me one of their albums. So he's one of the guitarists, and so like early alternative, like screamo, emo type music from the early 2000s, like I guess to 2010ish. Every song that you remember from that decade, they play it and they sound just like the bands that you would listen to. So really cool
That's
stuff.
awesome.
So I'm pretty sure he'll appreciate that ad read. Okay, so now I want to kind of dive into Scrappie, what it is a little bit more. You guys kind of alluded to it a little bit, but what possessed you to want to go, and I say that intentionally, to want to go on your own from, I guess, working in the arts from various different businesses to doing it yourself, because that's scary, especially in arts in general, because that is a tough area to start a business. And you guys seem to have a very unique way to enter the market in the arts. So,
Yeah.
I think like even before, like we both had our own separate e-commerce businesses that are, you know, doing okay enough where we could live very modestly off of it. But my mom has owned her own business like as long as I can remember, and I classified my parents as like not real adults. They both had me when they were like freshmen in college.
Oh, wow.
So like they're very young and they don't. My grandpa was very smart, so like he just kind of made decisions for them. But I'm like, Mom, is this a good idea? And she's like, I don't know, honey. Maybe think about your grandpa and he'll show up in your dreams tonight and tell you what to do. And I'm like, that doesn't help me at all. But they both have like, I've always watched them do like their dream jobs. Like my dad's a high school baseball coach and he loves baseball so much. I can't see him doing anything else. My mom's a photographer. Like I can't see her doing anything else. I'm like, why am I waiting for like a job that I can apply for to fall in my lap? Why can't I just like make my dream job? Because I've seen people do it. Why can't I just do it?
Yeah. I think for me, it was a thing of like, there's just nothing like working for yourself. I'm sure you can understand, but it's just like whenever you see your own brand doing so well or like your own art doing so well, and then you realize like, oh, I'm at a job for 8 hours a day. If I just had 8 hours in my own day to work on my own thing, I would have so much more like, I guess monetary money, yeah, but just like fulfillment in general. But like me and Raeleigh were literally just hanging out one day and I was like, I think I want to do this, but I don't want to do it alone. And then Raeleigh was like, well, I want to do the exact same thing. So we could just do it together. And I was like, wait, you're so right. And then from there, it took us maybe a week to get everything together. But I think there's also something that we talk about all the time as being, we're both eldest daughters. And there's some sort of like thing in our water that I swear because of that we have this like blinded confidence a little bit sometimes, where we've always been very like headstrong, very fiercely independent. And like I remember as a kid, like I did not care what anybody else thought of me ever. I was always doing my own thing, and like Raeleigh was the same way. And so it felt like a natural fit for both of us. And I was never scared to go off and start Scrappie. Number one, because like I knew it's what I wanted to do, and like between me and Raeleigh, if we want something, we're going to make it work, period. It doesn't really matter how hard the work is going to be. But then it's also just like Lafayette, in our opinion, like needed this. There was a gap there that hadn't been filled, and so it wasn't like we were going open another car wash. We were going open up something that like is literally not here unless you count like Michael's and Hobby Lobby. But we've never been scared, which I think is like a lot of the eldest daughter, but then also just like knowing that we offer a good product and that people want it and we want it. So
yeah. And so you said you're the both oldest daughters of your family. So I'm the oldest brother of my brothers, and you mentioned being independent and headstrong, and I feel like I feel the same way about myself. I know that's like weird to think about, but like I didn't have anybody ahead of me to use as a role model as far as like my brothers go.
Yeah.
Now I have my mom and my dad, of course, and other family members. But whenever I had my brothers, I felt like they depended on me so much. I'm like, okay, for example, my brother, if he's listening, he is going to hate me for what I'm about to say. But I loved to bake. My mom showed me how to bake brownies and like do cakes, like, you know, put the whole mix from the box, but, you know, do the whole thing. And I would do it. I would look at the box directions because she taught me to look at the directions and go step by step. Well, my brother, my youngest brother, I'm a brother of 3, goes, I want to make brownies. I'm like, okay, cool. Here's the box. He goes, well, what do I do?
Yes.
I'm like, you look at the box.
You read the directions.
It's right there. It's like pretty little pictures too. 2 eggs, this little thing of milk, and you stir it up and you put it in a pan and you set your oven to 350.
Yes.
Like, that's the simplest thing. And he was like, well, can you do it? I'm like, no.
I
want
mean, I
you want to do
can,
it.
but you could also do it.
Like, yeah, he was young though, so, you know, maybe I was just being a rude older brother. I don't know. But I just didn't understand, like, how come he couldn't figure it out. But I did have my mom to show me a little bit, but I'm a type of person that, like, I'm a figure outer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to freaking figure it out.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
And I feel
eldest
like maybe
child.
that's what you guys
Yeah.
feel too.
I think something that made me even more that way was growing up, I played softball very competitively. Like, I did 1 year of rec as like a 7-year-old, and then it was just like a natural fit that I ended up doing highly competitive, like travel softball for the longest time. And so I think like being in a very intense sport also made me that way, because you learn so much about like discipline, self-control, like even just the way that like your body works, like being able to fuel yourself. Like, there's so much learning that went into that part that I also credit it to that. But I think a lot of it too is just like being the oldest sibling. You're almost like a leader. You're like halfway between like an authority figure and a sibling.
Right.
I like to think. But yeah, there's so many factors that contribute to why we just went in and I guess went off on a whim, maybe.
Yeah. So with Scrappie, you mentioned Hobby Lobby and Michael's, and those being like the big box artist like stores, I guess, art stores. I think it's funny because there are art stores, but when you go in there, it feels more just like a decor store than anything.
Yeah.
The art's all the way in the back and kind of hidden, it feels like. You guys, it's right in front. Like, you have other things you can buy that are like art related, but like you have supplies all over the place there, and it feels very artsy. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was on purpose.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And then the house that you guys have too, it's a very artsy looking house.
Yeah.
It could probably be artsier looking, but I don't know your agreement with the lease or whatever.
Yeah.
But so whenever you were going into Scrappie, like, what was your thought process on being like that third place and being an art store per se? And whenever you, I guess, mention, you know, stores like Hobby Lobby and Michael's, like, the differentiator between those two, like, how do you say, hey, come to Scrappie instead of Hobby Lobby, for example?
So I graduated from UL, from the art department, and there's a ton of art supplies that like just you cannot buy anywhere in Lafayette that you need for your classes. Your class syllabus day is on Thursday, you need to have all your materials. There's nowhere in Lafayette to buy it. So we have almost everything that all of the syllabuses have for all the supplies, like the random things like sheets of metal, like of copper and brass and nickel we have, and
Vellum paper.
like just all these random things that I know I did the class, but I'm like talking to all the professors, give me your syllabuses. I want to make sure, I want the students to be able to get everything they need. And like for my freshman year, I went into Michael's and I was there for like 2 hours with my phone out trying to figure out what paints I need. And then people come in and I'm like, but they're looking lost with their phone. I'm like, okay, what do you need? You're taking painting 1. Okay, these are all the colors you need. You don't really need, I took the class, you don't really need this one. You could go without it, save some money.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's how we kind of differentiate ourselves from them.
Yeah, I think too, like, being a consumer, things are really, like, you don't really know a lot until maybe you're on the other side of it. And so a lot of people will come in and be like, oh, well, I could buy oil paint from here, Scrappie, but I could go to Hobby Lobby and get it for cheaper. Something that a lot of people don't know is that whenever you have these big box stores like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart, Target, they're buying things on such massive scales that the price breaks are just insane. So we might pay $2 for something, sell it to you for $4 because that's how much we can realistically buy at one time without having a bunch of surplus.
Right.
But what we pay $2 for, Hobby Lobby might buy 5,000 units of something and get it for 12 cents a piece. Like, it just, I mean, it goes back to like the economics of running a small business can be a little tough sometimes because, yeah, y'all are right. Like, you can go to Hobby Lobby and buy it for $5 cheaper than what you buy it from us for. But I think what's important to me is that whenever you shop at a small business, like, you're putting food on the table for somebody, you're putting a little girl in dance lessons, you're putting a little boy in soccer, like, you're helping real people pay their rent. Like, well, just shopping small in general.
Yeah, I know.
But it's also like you're getting such, whenever you go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you're getting such lower quality items. Like, we are very like prideful on the fact that we stock a good variety of things. Like, we have very beginner friendly things, we have intermediate, we have the nicer stuff. Like, we try and offer a wide selection, and everything that we purchase we know is good quality, versus if you're going by an oil paint from Hobby Lobby, there's no guarantee of, like, number one, any sort of like ethics behind the product, but then also just like you're just feeding into like another capitalistic system whenever you buy from them. But I think too, something that's really cool about our supplies, specifically in comparison to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any other big box stores, that all of our supplies come from New Orleans. There's a big art supplier called SLS Arts, if anybody wants to look it up. But
their website's archaic.
Yeah, their website is pretty crazy. But it's just like the heart of keeping things local. Like, we're asking you to buy local, so it's only fair that we do as well. And so even buying from SLS is super cool. Like, Raeleigh takes a U-Haul, grabs all the supplies, and drives back in one day. And so I think it's just really neat that we're asking you to support us. And so in turn, we're like still boosting the local economy in New Orleans and taking a trip out there. And yeah, it's very cool in comparison to just like getting 5,000 units of something on a pallet and whatever.
Yeah, and also too, you know, places like Hobby Lobby and all, they hire people, and those people might stay there for a couple of months and move on to something else. So, and they may not be very well educated, and there might be someone who has long tenure there that knows a little bit about some stuff. But you guys are very curated, obviously, from the syllabus that you're talking about, being able to supply students with the exact things they need because you have exact experience in the class is really cool. So like, if I was taking a class and I knew that you guys existed and had exactly what I would need, I wouldn't go to Hobby Lobby and spend an hour and a half, 2 hours trying to find what I need, because I could just go to your place and almost just buy it within 10 minutes and walk out.
Yeah.
So we since we opened up like literally a month before school, or like a week too before school started, we wanted to, there's a few stores that do this around college campuses where they do class kits. So like someone from Painting One would show up and be like, I'm in Painting One. Okay, here is your kit. This is everything you need for the class. I can give it to you for 35% off of what I would usually sell it for. So like that will be really cool in the future for us to do. We're hoping next semester we'll be able to get those for like, we can get it way cheaper if people come and they use it. But the UL professors and the students have been like insanely supportive, which we're really grateful for. Like the first week, people were coming in that we didn't know, and they're like, who are y'all? Why does everyone keep talking about y'all?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They love us.
We've
I love
been
it
here
though.
for a week.
But they're like, that people will ask us for something, and we're like, oh, sorry, we don't have it yet. And they're like, why wouldn't y'all have that? I'm like, we've been open for a month. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Or, why don't y'all have a sign yet?
Well, it's also even interesting to see, like, you know, nobody does art anymore, but we have so many people that walk in on a daily basis where they're like, yeah, I'm an artist and I just need oil paint. And like, we're really servicing so many different generations of artists that it's really, really cool to see that there's just this bustling arts community in our town. And we're just happy to be a part of it and have some sort of service to offer.
Yeah, I think the art community here, like you said, it's a very, very big community, but it's very underground. It's very, you know, there's certain people that have a storefront, like your, I don't want to say old timers, but people that are well established.
Yeah.
What is it? Not George Rodriguez. I mean, he's a very well known guy, but there's another one. Is it Bernard? In the South College Center.
I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah.
He does, he does some really cool stuff, but he's well established. And there's like little pockets of people that have presences in the town that, you know, are well known, but like there's so many people here that just do it at their home and like share it online, and that's and you'll never see it out and about unless you go to like our walk or something like that. You might see it there, but just to know that is wild.
That's why we try and with like our, like if y'all have never been to Scrappie, you walk in, it's the art supply room, and then right off to that we have our consignment like vendor room, and so we try and really support young like small artists. I mean, we also have like very well established people, but it's really cool to work with people who like, there's this one girl, Eloise, that's a ceramicist that Raeleigh just ran into at Art Walk, and she was going to study abroad, and Raeleigh was like, well, give me all your stuff, I'll sell it in the store. Like, it's really, really
incredible
cool.
ceramicist too.
Like, it's just really, really cool to be able to support younger artists in that way, because I think that's something that like we just know. Like we were literally there 6 months ago. Like being able to have your stuff in a storefront without committing to opening your own is very special. And so we really like to support people who've never been in a store before, maybe never sold their products, alongside people who like have had 10 years of experience selling their stuff. It's really great to, you know, integrate everybody as much as possible.
Yeah. So going back to earlier conversations about school and art being in school. So I was thankful, I am thankful that the school that I went to, now it was a small town school. My graduating class, my wife makes fun of it, was like less than 40 people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, small school. Bayou Chico, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bayou Chico. No. You know where Ville Platte is, though, right? Being from Opelousas, I think you should know that. About 15 minutes north of Ville Platte, Bayou Chico, Turkey Creek area. I went to school there, and we had an art class, and it was a actual class. Every day I would go to it. Every day. Not
That's
once
so
a week,
awesome.
not once a year. It was like every day. Now, it wasn't like every single year. I didn't take it every single year because I had to change my classes because I was not the best student. So if I had to double up on classes, I had to like get two of the same classes. I had to take English 2 and 3 the same year, my senior year, because I was terrible at English. And today I write, which is, I use a lot of AI now to do it, but like whatever. But I had to learn how to use punctuation, but then I didn't because I didn't care. But art, I took it every day. And I remember the teacher, he was a very different kind of guy. He was an older man, but he recognized that I liked art. My dad, whenever I was growing up, would always draw and paint. My dad painted signs, like big 4x8 signs, hand-painted signs. This was when hand-painted signs and vinyl was starting to overlap, and people were starting to transition to doing vinyl cut signs. My dad did not want to change from that. He was old school, and he's like, I like hand-painted signs. I think it looks better. It took him, I remember him being in his shop, took him like 3 hours or more, sometimes a couple days to do a sign. And it was for the school. Like the sign was literally just a sign talking about the basketball team and how they won this championship. And it was all the names, but he hand painted all that. And so I get a lot of my artistic influences from my dad. He used to paint at PHI, the helicopter place. He used to like hand paint the helicopters.
Oh my God, so crazy.
Cool
This is before automation happened.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, the oil bust happened, so he got laid off from PHI and then never went back. And then it was all robotics after that. And I always tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, I know it sucks to be someone who's like artsy like that, but I tell him, I'm like, to keep the job like that, you should have like transitioned, but either like to learn like the technology, but that's neither here nor there. I get my influences from him, and I remember going back to the class that I took every day, which I think it's funny that art is not an everyday thing in most schools, because it was in mine. I would do we had canvases. We would get like every other day or two, we'd get a fresh blank canvas, and we were told, okay, you got this to paint. Like he would give us an abstract or like a subject. And he's like, I want you to paint this, draw this, paint this, whatever you got to do on the canvas, and see how close you can get, and use some creativity liberties to get to where you got to go. what I would do was so different than what everybody else would do, because nobody else was really super artistic. They were there because they had to take the class, I think.
Yeah.
And then they would like take a glance at what I was doing and they were like, why are you so good? And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying this about myself. They literally, I'm like, I don't think I'm good. Like I think I do all right. My dad does art, but like, this is just what I know to do. And I always thought that was fascinating. And then growing up, I started getting into graphic design. That's how I moved to Lafayette.
Yeah.
Graphic design and the arts, and like I'm a very artsy person too, but also realized that, you know, I have to also make money. So like I've had to like balance like do art stuff or make money, and then graphic design felt like the best place to do that, because it's like
That's why I majored in it. Yeah.
Right, that's the perfect major, right? It's like you could do artsy stuff. Now there's some graphic design that isn't very artsy. It's like, this is so boring, but it's paying $4,000.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do it. I don't know. I don't know why I go down that tangent, but it feels like it's something that I relate to, and I wish that that was more of a common thing for people that even aspire to be artistic or are artistic that don't have the access to art classes like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of wild.
We like we have open studio hours where like anyone could come in. You do not have to pay for it at all. Like just come in, craft, bring your own stuff, clean up after yourself. And a local artist came in with someone that she was giving a lesson to. And I was like, she was probably in high school. And I was like, she needs to come to an open studio where there's other people here and just hang out with other artists, because she was very passionate about it, but like maybe insecure or something. And I'm like, she needs to see that this is very possible, and that, you know, starting now, being serious about art starting now does not hurt at all. Yeah. And it's very attainable thing. It's not that scary. It's very doable. Let me help you. Like,
I think there's
doable.
just like a stigma of pursuing arts, and it's such like a. I remember being in high school and applying to colleges, and I literally still have the journal, but I like drew all these different art schools in New York, and I was like, I'm gonna go for fashion design. I'm gonna go for photography. Like, I just wanted to go for something arts related. My parents were like, you cannot do that. Like, you cannot do that. And so it's so, and they didn't know that this was like on my path in the future, obviously, hindsight 2020. But there is such a stigma in like pursuing arts, even as like, you know, little boys. I see it all the time where they're just like the best little artists, but it's like, no, you have to do sport. It's like, why can't we just meet people where they're at? Like, you know, there's this guy that comes into Scrappie all the time. He's probably like maybe a little older than us. He comes in like once a week and he's like, what am I doing wrong? What do I do? What supplies do I get? Like, it's just so cool to see so many people at so many points in their life wanting to pursue arts, whether it's like for more hobby or for more serious. But I think COVID had a lot to do with that as well. And so I think it's nice that we're moving to like an era of, I don't know, society where it is cool to be an artist, and it's not like you're going to make no money, because like there is money to be made.
Right. I mean, I think the stigma comes from back in the day, oh, you're a starving artist.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to starve.
Yeah. I think it's such a like, I mean, I wrote a whole thing on this, but I think that's such like an old stereotype. Like, I'm over it.
Because you don't have to. Like, I worked before doing stuff myself. I work a job. You don't just quit.
Yeah.
You don't just leave until you have money.
You gotta be smart about it.
Like, my roommate and my best friend, he is still working at like a restaurant, and I'm like, stay there. Let me help you make money. Stay there until you make like equivalent. Right. And then you can leave. And then it'll be the same thing where it sucks because you're not getting paid enough for the work, but it builds on top of itself. And like, you don't have to sell giant paintings to make money. I sell stickers on the internet. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? It's $4. It's nothing. Yeah. And people, you know, it pays for me to live.
One of my favorite things to talk about is like the stereotype of the artist, of like everybody thinks that artists are these free flowing, like hippie, like hurting people, but it's like that is not like that is not the reality of like, you know, I had this one amazing professor in college, Jillian Harper, and she had told us like you need to not play into that stereotype. Like, if you have a project that's due, you need to get it done. Whenever you graduate, people already think that artists are lazy and that they don't do anything and that they just feel their emotions all the time and that it's not real work. Like, imagine going to a client and being like, oh, I need an extension, like, blah, blah. That's unprofessional. Like, artists are some of the most hardworking, professional people you will ever meet. Just because we don't use, like, corporate jargon does not make us, like, not equivalent to a real job. It's literally my favorite thing to talk about because it's just so true. And that's why so many people have that stereotype of like, you can't go into the arts. What are you going to do? Bitch, I'm going to make art. Yeah. That's my job is make the art and sell it. Like, it's so interesting to talk about and get other people's perspectives on it too.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people that, go into art, I say a lot of people, a fair amount of people do want to be on their own and feel like they have that freedom to be lazy. But the thing is, you got to remember, like, it's a business. Like, if you want to make money, you got to put out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's what the whole starving artist thing is. Like, when you see a starving artist, usually you see why. Like, you just don't care. Yeah. Like, you wanted to do art because you like the art that you put out. Maybe that's fine. Maybe you like your art. Yeah. Maybe no one else does. I mean, that's a real possibility. Not everybody likes your art.
I think it's a thing too of just in small business, like, period. Everybody wants to, like, be their own boss and, like, be the girl boss and, work for themselves. And then you realize, like, you can't just, like, start your company and then leave. Like, you have to be actively involved in it all the time. And so I think it's just a thing with, like, as an artist, I consider myself like a small business almost, but it's just like, that's with anything that you start up. It's not as easy as you think it's going to be. Like, no matter how many videos you watch, if you're not actively, like, doing the work every day, it's just not going to happen. But you can say the same thing with, like, a corporate job of, like, you go in, you don't do your work, you're going to get fired. Like, you don't have a cushion. Like, that's why, like, to me, going out and doing our own thing wasn't as scary because it was the same thing as if I was pulling up to my 9 to 5 and watching TikTok all day. I'm going to get fired. So I might as well just do my own thing, enjoy what I'm doing, really, like, follow my passion, and then it'll just be successful because I will never not be successful because I'm crazy.
Yeah. We're both very hard workers, though. Like, we both really enjoy working. Yeah. Even we decided that we'll be close on Mondays just so, like, we can actually, like, take a step back and maybe sleep in a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, this Monday I was at Scrappie the entire day still, just making stuff. But, like, art's my job, what I live for, and, like, my hobby. Like, art is every single part of my being. And, like, I don't, like, no hate to people who like to go out and on the weekends and stuff. I just don't like doing that anymore. I just want to play with ceramics or paint, like,
draw on your iPad.
I love doing it. I want to do it 24/7. Like, why would I want to step away from my business?
Yeah.
I want to make it giant.
Well, speaking of ceramics and all that other stuff, you guys actually have classes for that, right? You do classes. So, like, I don't know how much we talked about that because I know we're talking about the very nuanced part of the artist world. But you guys offer more than just art supplies and consignment. You guys have classes. So tell us a little bit about that because we're at about 48 minutes. So we're almost at an hour. Yeah. So I want to be respectful. I know we got started a little late and make sure I don't hold you guys up.
Yeah. So Scrappie is, like, we say it's half art supply, half art studio. So the first half is the art supplies, the vendor stuff, all the fun things that you can buy and take home. And then the studio side, we do workshops every Friday night. And so we always say these are more like the crafty, like, little fun date nights, or bring a friend, or come by yourself.
Low stakes.
Low stakes. Like, we do cake decorating, we do punch tin, we're doing paper mache lamps, we're doing something ceramic for Thanksgiving that you can put on your table. Like, those are the fun, like, come in, have a drink, and then leave with something that you like. And then the classes, you really dive into a specific medium. So we do painting, printmaking, ceramics, crochet / like yarn arts. And so this is if you were really interested in learning like a specific type of medium or like pushing yourself a little further. You come in once a week for 3 hours for a full month, so about 12 hours of instruction, and you have an instructor who like gives you projects, kind of guides you through different, I guess just ways of working.
Yeah.
And if you want to come in and like make your own project, you totally can. You have the guidance of somebody to help you, teach you the basics. And so I always say these are really good for people who are like absolute beginners, have never ever done art before, period, and just like want a creative outlet. Or if you've been making art for 5 years and you just want to be around other people and like learn a little more about a different type of medium, it's like perfect. I mean, it's all based in community and being around other people, and the studio is my favorite part.
Yeah. The Thursday night class, which is really cool. Thursday night we have ceramics. And last month it was like it was 10 people. Half of the class was a friend group already established and the other half did not know each other. They like merged. Like they've all become friends now. A few people from both are taking it again. They're like going to get drinks on the weekend together. Like they became friends. And I think that's part of what we want. And like a lot of them, one of the girls in the class like has been here every open studio time available. She has like fully thrown herself into ceramics. She's obsessed with it now. And like that's what we want. We want people to find a love for art that's like they get off of work. This is your 3 hours a week you have to devote to just yourself. Yeah. You don't have your phone. You can't really play on your phone with ceramics. It's messy.
Right, I know, it's messy, yeah.
But it's, they get just this time just for themselves. And then they make new friends. It's a cool thing to see happen.
Even in our painting class, I'll never forget the first day, our friend Alasia was taking the class. She sat down, and then this lady, Miss Jan, sat down right next to her, and one of them turned to the other and was like, I think I was in your 3rd grade class, like you were my teacher. It was a former student and a teacher sitting in the exact same place doing the exact same thing. Like, I just thought that was the most beautiful thing to have happen in one of our classes. Like, it just proves that no matter what path you're on in your life or like where you're at, there's always like this comfort of being able to come in and do something for yourself and meet new people from all different walks of life. It's really cool. But then whenever you take a class, you also get access to Open Studio, and so you get to come in at pretty much any point during the day whenever we're open and continue to work on your own things. So like you pay $150 for a class, but really if you take advantage of it, you're paying less than like
my girl Emily is really taking advantage of it.
But like if you if you really invest and like create that time for yourself, you're getting very good money's worth, we hope.
Yeah. Well, look, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's great. Obviously, whenever I heard about it, you guys were very active on social media in the beginning. Still are, but in the beginning stages, you guys were just pumping out stuff. Yeah. And then I saw the process of you getting your keys and this and that. And I'm like, this place looks really cool. The name is really cool because I feel like, people, especially artists, are very scrappy. In just in life in general, because you got to figure out how to make things work. Yeah. And like we go back to I'm a figure outer. A lot of artists are figure outer people, and so I just I really embraced that name. I was like, I really want to write about this place, but I need to like get there. And then I got there, and then I failed to write about it as soon as I wanted to, and then you guys made a lot of progress. And then,
we did a lot in a week.
Yeah, and then like you opened, and then I'm like, my pictures are old because now they're open. So yeah, I went back and really, really enjoy the space. It's very homey because it is an old home. But that's what I love about it. It's like it doesn't feel like a stale white crackers looking box, like because it doesn't have an echo in there, like a lot of like new commercial spaces that don't have a lot of history or stuff on the wall to like absorb noise. It echoes, and like in there it's very warm. And I think that's really great. So is there anything that we didn't talk about that you guys want to mention before we head out? I think we covered a good bit.
We did good. Yeah.
It's been so like the support from just Lafayette and like even people from outside of Louisiana has been so incredible. Like we're so grateful for everything that people are so helpful and kind, and even other businesses have been so great too. It's been a really good startup.
Yeah,
You know?
it's
Yeah.
been, we've been very, very lucky for
So,
sure.
so it sounds like you guys are not moving out of Lafayette anytime soon.
We both decided we love Lafayette.
We
I
love
mean, yeah.
Lafayette. We love it.
Dude, you
And
know
you
what?
can keep the magic of like, we can go visit Colorado and New York
Yeah.
and Chicago. Like, we'll keep the magic of
But I
those
love
places.
it here. I love the people here. My family's here.
We're
I
getting
love
a,
Louisiana.
We're getting a
It's so
Buc-ee's, I'm
unique.
staying. We're getting a Buc-ee's,
Louisiana-
I'm staying.
Louisiana is very unique, and I think that's I think that's the reason why we have boomerangs. Are you familiar with what a boomerang is? It's people that
Yes.
move
yes,
away
yes,
and they come back.
I mean, that was my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I can't like my dream is the desert. I love the desert. I would love to go live in the desert. Get all that
In a
humid air
camper?
out of here. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
that. But I think about it all the time and I'm like, but the people in the South, the values of the South, like I really love everything here and I don't want to leave. My mommy's here.
Your mom is here.
Yeah. It's a lot of people, it's family. Usually it's family first. Food. For a lot of people too, it's, I met my spouse here. Like, when you meet a spouse here, especially if you're someone who's like, out of state and you find a man or a woman here, you can't, especially if it's a woman, you can't get them to leave their family.
Yeah.
They stay.
It's true.
So it's really quite fascinating. And then we have a lot of culture. We have a lot of unique stuff. There's a lot of history here.
Yeah.
I love visiting other cities. We went to Atlanta recently. I think it's a great city. I'd love to live there, but I would feel like I want to move back to Lafayette. And
Yeah.
Lafayette's not my hometown that I grew up in, but I feel like this is where my heart is now because I've created a business here. I created something that's deeply ingrained in the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you guys are doing. And once you do that, it's almost like you adopt
Yeah.
the city. Excuse me. And it makes it really hard. Now, obviously, you could do that anywhere. You
Yeah.
can find your pocket somewhere, but I don't know. Something special about Lafayette. Lafayette's the most, in my opinion, but aside from New Orleans, New Orleans is a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
Lafayette has a spirit about it. It's hard to put my finger on it, and I'm trying to find what that is. I think it's community, if I had to like broad stroke it. But there's something special about Lafayette in that sense that no other town besides potentially New Orleans has that as a city as a whole. Like this entire region, for those that might be listening outside of the state, different counties, we have parishes. Multiple parishes, I feel like feel and think and breathe the same in this area. And I think that's what also helps us being unique is that somebody from Vermilion Parish and somebody from Lafayette or St. Martin Parish will have similar experiences, but as you go out, somebody from another parish to that won't have the same experiences because they're just not that uniquely ingrained.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an Acadiana thing or what, because I know that's a whole multiple parish region. But there's something different. I feel like I told somebody in a comment section once, I feel like this area breathes at the same pulse, like the same rate. And we can go to different parts of the area and feel like we know these people, but we've never met them before.
Yeah. It's also one of those things where it's like wherever you go, you are there. Like if you don't make peace with yourself, like it's your hometown is not the problem. Like
Right.
it may be like limiting you to some capacity, but also like, even if we were to get up and move somewhere, we would still be stuck with ourselves and like our internal things. So it's just like if you don't make peace with being here, you're never going to make peace elsewhere. And like that took me a really long time. It took me moving away, going to LSU to realize that like Lafayette is very special, and it wasn't necessarily like something that I had realized at the time, for sure.
Yeah. It takes a little bit of soul searching to figure out like why you want to stay here. And for those that don't stay here and you move out and you find a home somewhere else, I mean, that's cool and all. I thought maybe one day I'd move to Las Vegas, and then I went to Las Vegas twice and realized I don't want to live here.
Oh, hell no.
I do not want to live here. I think it's cool to visit. I love architecture. I'm not an architecture person. Like I'm not a architect.
A guru, yeah.
I was going to say architectist, but no, I'm not an architect. But I love building shapes and I love design. That just comes from the artistic side of me. And being in Vegas, I'm like fascinated with the city, but I talk to the people that live there and they don't even like living there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to live here.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, I can make a business here.
Yeah.
Because it's great. Like at that time, this was early 2010s. There was, you know, ads everywhere. And I was like, maybe I can get into the advertising business, designing billboards and graphics. And you can still do that, but like, I don't want to live there.
In
So
Las
Yeah.
Vegas.
yeah, moved to Lafayette in 2010 and said, oh,
It clicked.
this is the
It
spot.
says something about natives being like, I love it here.
Yeah.
I love it here.
Yeah.
The natives and
Yeah. I think whenever you just have people who like being here and like their town, like it just creates such better values, and people want to take care of the city. People want to start new businesses and they want to be involved.
hate the
like,
traffic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hate the traffic.
definitely.
Can we redo the road somehow?
Please,
my
everybody.
Oh,
God.
do we have our faults? Absolutely.
Yes.
Traffic.
Every town does.
So
Yeah.
Scrappie's on Johnston Street, and 3 times daily there's traffic. Like in the morning when
You
school
can
gets
see
out,
it.
and then at 5, and I just see all the cars, and I'm like, there has to be a better system. Flying cars,
I know.
Flying cars.
public
Flying
transportation.
cars, yeah. Oh, public, yeah.
transportation.
Okay, we got buses, but like there could be better. But you know, one day we'll get a loop around the city. I'll be dead. Like I'll be gone. Look,
We'll see. You never know.
I'm probably not even going to be here to see the eventual I-49 connector that they've been talking about.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
I moved here or started visiting here before 2010, and I remember being on Highway 90 or the Evangeline Thruway going through downtown, seeing the future corridor of I-49. That sign. I don't know if you guys ever saw that
Yes.
sign, but it would say future corridor of I-49. I'm like, how long has that sign been there?
Future.
Yes.
Future. How
Yes,
long?
it's been there. Apparently, they've been talking about putting the I-49 connector or the stretch of I-49 connecting through Lafayette since the 80s or longer.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
They're
also
just-
like a predominantly black neighborhood as well. So
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
They need to go up.
Go up.
Yeah.
Then it's like
Like in
blocking out the
Texas, you
sunlight.
build up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of
we do have their faults.
there's a lot of faults. There's a lot of issues that I think, you know, we're actively working through, and over time we'll get there. We'll be the city that everybody wants it to be, but until that time comes, which probably
Yeah.
will never come because we're never going to have our way.
Everybody is always going to want something different
Right.
as well. But it says
Right.
a lot that people like stand up and fight for their community and what they believe in, because a lot of places you can't do that.
Definitely. Yeah. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah. Well, this is great. I got to close it out because, you know, we made it just over an hour.
Let's go.
Great episode. I really appreciate you guys coming on.
It was
Thank you
so
so much
fun.
for having us. This was
Yeah, let's do it
It's
again.
silly.
Same time next week.
So same thing. Okay. You guys are going to be regulars. Yeah, this was fun. Man, good luck to you guys. I hope to see it blow up, and maybe there'd be a second Scrappie location at some point.
Oh yeah.
in
Yeah.
the desert.
In the desert.
In the desert,
the
yeah.
in
desert.
Las Vegas.
No customers.
No customers,
No
just you guys, yeah.
customers.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you want to check out Scrappie Studio, the website's in the caption. Go follow them on social media, do all that stuff. And we really appreciate you listening. And again, thank you for coming on, guys. And y'all have a great weekend.
You too.
Yay. Thank you.
All right, guys,
my
that is it.
So
Y'all have a
fun.
great weekend as well.